Oh yeah, let's go. So the 2025 CVO ST Road Glide, what an amazing creation this bike is. It's got the 121 Screaming Eagle motor right from the factory, including the ram air, the cams, everything. Improved brakes. Look at the stinking brakes on this thing. Unbelievable. Awesome. And one of the things I love about this model is that they use this like pearl type plastic in certain parts, including the front fender, and to me that just looks amazing. It's so cool looking. Of course, you got a low cut on it. Windshield, there is an adjustable screen on the front for ventilation, and everything is black chrome. Just the cooling fins have been machined off to show silver. It has, again, some special little farklings for the CVO. Remote reservoir on the rear. It has Screaming Eagle exhaust on it, but I'll tell you it's a little quiet. Once we get on the road, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Really sharp looking with the red. All right, let's ride. This bike is an animal. I'm telling you right now, it's all bells and whistles, all the stops pulled out. It's the Road Glide CVO ST from Harley. Has everything. I'm gonna wait till this car goes by so I can yank on it. Here we go. That's insanity. When you're thinking about this is a massive bike, and without a rev limiter you just destroy the engine because it pulls all the way until it kicks off. This bike has the 121 hopped up setup, Screaming Eagle exhaust. It has the tuned suspension with remote reservoir on the rear and something fancy on the front, I'm not exactly sure. Upgraded brakes. The infotainment, which is now standard, including the Apple CarPlay feature, which I think is kind of crazy. The other cool thing about this is the embellishments from the CVO. They've really stepped up, and they're showing now with this like knurled, almost like pearl type finish on it, which is just super cool. This is the thing that with these V-twins on these type of bikes, when they do a little bit of work to it, which makes them just so amazing. 55 miles an hour, fifth gear, 2,500 RPMs, and you just roll on the throttle and you can watch the speedometer just jump. It just goes to show the amount of torque that these engines have. Even in sixth gear, you can lug it down and it still wants to pull. It's amazing. I do think that the Screaming Eagle exhaust on this is a little bit quiet for the fact that this is a performance. But I know that on my Harley with the Screaming Eagle exhaust that I bought, until I took the baffle out, I didn't fully unlock the capabilities. It was like another level that it opened up. But yeah, this bike is really, really nice with the red. These bikes are super expensive. As far as the specs go on this bike, I'll let my voiceover Pete tell you the deal.
All right, let's talk about this bike for a second. It's the M8 motor, 121, and it's tuned 127 horsepower, which is amazing. 140 stinking 5 foot-pounds of torque. Can you believe that much power? It's enough to fling you down the road or baptize you with a guardrail, your choice. I noticed in the walkthrough there was only a solo seat. That's okay, you're gonna rip it off and throw it away because it's stupid. Put a better seat on there, something that's a little bit more comfortable because you're gonna feel everything in the road. And it's a solo seat from the factory because Harley's way of saying, hey, you're alone in your bad decisions, and she's still mad. Forged carbon fiber, sorry we messed it up on the filming, is pretty awesome. It's very expensive, so don't break it or scratch it. And there's 3 pieces on the bike you'll notice when you get it. And it looks amazing. Showa inverted forks up front. I believe Olin's in the back, but I couldn't find for sure, but they look just like Olin's, especially if you close your eyes and touch them. It's a little stiff, but they're going after sport. Dual wave rotors in the front, mated to Brembos. This bike stops real well. Also, the operating system on this is Harley's new Skyline, which they put on their bikes the last 2 years, which I really like because number one, you can use any headset you want with it. You're not locked down to some stupid overpriced, non-functioning model that's only at the dealer. The second thing is there is 2 extra modes on the ST models, Track and Track Plus. So if you're going to take this bike down there and whip it around some corners like you know what you're doing, you can actually put it in some modes that stretch it out a bit. This does have rider safety enhancements like ABS, corner traction, corner ABS, etc. But again, you can turn them down if you decide to take it to the track. Here's the fun part. It's 838 pounds. It does not feel that heavy when you're riding it, but this is a big mammal. For price, $45K out the door plus destination fees. You could buy a small house for something like that and live on a river by yourself, because you're probably going to have to after you ride it. Most dealers are marking these up even more. If you can find an MSRP dealer and they have one of these bikes, you're doing good. Bottom line, the CVO Road Glide ST isn't just a bike. It's a 2-wheel coffin draped in carbon fiber, and you're going to love every minute of it.
A lot of the chrome on this is actually black chrome, which is kind of cool. And pairing that with the red and then the pearl type embellishments, I mean, it's pretty nice. As far as room goes, it is kind of a sporty seating position, even though this is technically a cruiser. You're kind of hunched into the handlebars a little bit. One of the things that Harley is now doing too is with the infotainment system, everything is all digital, and it does make the graphic layout really nice. Everything is bright, it's easy to see. The gauges are very responsive. So there's no lag or anything like that, and it is full sun out today and I have no problem seeing it. The seat on this as well, sitting down, has a little bit of a backrest. I'm kind of leaning back into it, but there's not a lot of cushion on it, and especially with these roads being a little bumpy, you can feel it. I think for a really long trip, it might be a little uncomfortable, but I'm sure you could buy an aftermarket sundowner type seat for it that would probably provide a little bit better riding comfort. One of the things Harley's doing now across most of their platforms is standardizing the different ride modes and the different things you can expect to see from model to model, which makes it nice, makes it easier to be able to interface with on the fly. So the riding modes on this, you've got your sport mode, which it's in right now, which stiffens up the throttle because these are drive-by-wire. I will say the suspension on this is a little on the stiffer side. Even being, you know, the cruiser that it is, you'd think it'd be a little bit more plush, but again, this is the ST, which is designed for sport. So you're going to get a little harsher ride, and they're doing that on purpose. The seat's a little stiffer. They're doing that on purpose, just so that you can, you know, do what you're going to do for cornering and handability. It really corners well for being such a large manimal. This bike really does not feel as heavy as it is, and it really handles like a sport bike. It's amazing. Plus that V-twin grip that it has, as soon as you crack that throttle, it's like, oh yeah, daddy's home. My overall impressions of this bike are, it is super fast and super fun to crank around on. If you're looking for a bike that goes fast and looks really mean, then this bike is for you. The drawbacks on this though is the suspension is a little too stiff, and I'm not being a whiny, I'm just saying it's a little on the stiff side. So anything outside of, you know, street riding out of the city areas that have well-maintained roads, you'll start to feel it after a little while. This is not a bike that you're going to want to take on a really long trip, just because it's designed for sport. Off the line, this bike is just an absolute animal, and when we pull out up here, I'll show you exactly what I mean again. The shifting is a little clunky on it still because you're throwing some big gears around. This isn't, again, a street sport bike. This is a cruiser that's been adapted to that, but the adaptation was done well, so it does get out of its own way. You'll see exactly what I mean in a second here, buddy. It sounds good even with the baffles in, but it's just a touch quiet. Quiet. And the thing shakes like crazy. Here we go. The full throttle launch on this thing, is just, yeah, hello, beautiful. It's amazing. And the noise it get when you're in the power band with this, like right here, and you give it full throttle, listen to the engine. It's like more. See, to me, that offsets the suspension being on the stiffer side. And the fact that it handles as good as it does too, it's the trade-off you have to make. You have to decide, okay, am I going to complain about my butt being sore, or do I want a bike that I can absolutely destroy in the corners, off the line? I mean, that's what this is about. Well, thanks for tuning in on the ride, listening to me just completely ramble on about this thing. But this is like one of the ultimate bikes that you would get if you have too much money and you're looking for something fun. I mean, it's got a lot to offer. Even the brakes are good on this bike for being as heavy as it is. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'd be curious to know if you've driven one, owned one. Man, the CVO shop has come such a long way in the last couple of years. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary last year too, and I just think that now they're turning out a lot of these fancy models, and they're just really, really nice bikes. So thanks again for tuning in, and as I like to say, please ride safe.